Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Cam. Jacob Collins and Matt Wyatt are here with me. Madam Web was god awful, so they're here to share in my pain with me. Yeah, that's the tone of this stream, y'all. It says in the title review/rant/roast because we're all going to be just interchanging with what we're going to be doing here because, I mean, it's rare to come across a movie like this bad. But we have stumbled upon a rich vein of shit, for lack of a better word. Like we have been panning for gold. It's like that scene in The Hobbit in the an unexpected journey where the where the dwarf is tapping away in the mine and he discovers the heart of the mountain. We have found the heart of bad superhero movies, at least modern ones anyway. But Ryan Cam, Jacob Collins, Matt White, how you guys doing?
I'm doing fantastic, by the way. And by the way, I just noticed that Matt has a haircut, so
He does, and he's looking sharp.
I know he
Yep.
looks like he's 40 years older. Looks like he belongs to be a granddad. Madam Web took some life years out of him. Now he literally went from like he was like in his early 20s. Now he's in his early 40s now.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa. Well, that's too
bad. It took 20 years out of my life from this 2-hour movie.
It's been 84.
It's unexpected that we're in a support group /roast/rant in this spoiler discussion.
I can say speak for yourselves because I actually thought this movie was okay. I actually enjoyed watching this movie. I walked out of this going, it wasn't that bad. Like compared to like what everybody else said, like to me, I think Morbius is a far much worse movie than this. Compared to this, I walked out and said, you know what? There are things I like about this movie. Now, don't get me wrong. There are terrible things in this movie.
Oh, and guess what? The same writers that written Morbius wrote this fucking movie.
You know, it's so bad. So
I can
bad,
give you. I can literally list off the fucking movies on IMDb of the two co-writers who have written Madam Web, have written Morbius, written the 2017 Power Rangers reboot, The Last Witch Hunter, Dracula Untold, Gods of Egypt. I mean, the list goes on. In some reason, that Sony decided to hire the same shitty writers to write this material.
That first that Power Rangers 2017 movie, I will admit, was not terrible. I liked it.
Not the worst, but not the best.
I will admit that as someone who can watch can say the number of Power Rangers things he's watched is like one, two, like a couple things.
I mean, I'm a big Power Rangers fan, and I like the 2017. They're not bad. They're just not that great. I mean, it could have done. It had the potential to be good.
I liked what they did with Rita Repulsa in that movie because like she's always campy going, I am 10. Instead, she's like,
you know, in this movie of Madam Web, the product placement is a plot device. You know, it reminded me, Power Rangers 2017. You know that another product of
Krispy
Kreme, the Krispy Kreme. Yeah, that literally had a similarity. Yeah,
like
I guess that people really are desperately to just show off the product placement to sell their products.
Which I will say, there are things I do like in this movie. I will say one of the things I thought I liked about this movie was it kind of has the plot of the Terminator meets Next, where basically there's a guy who's trying to kill these girls to protect his own future. And I thought that was really good because it's like, this is the guy who doesn't want to die. He literally is like, also, I got kind of Highlander feel. Did y'all guys feel like you found Highlander themes in this movie where I'm like, because it kind of feels sometimes like I'm watching, like, especially the third act of the movie when they're on the giant sign. Just like, this reminds me of Highlander.
I mean, I still have not watched the Highlander movie. I got to still watch the original film. I still got to check out that movie so bad.
Neither have I. And really, this movie contains nuggets of like much better movies.
Again, you had a good idea, especially the main villain, but it just fell on his face. It just, you don't care about his arc. It's just, he's so boring. The dialogue was atrocious, especially the main villain. That dialogue sounded so dubbed. It felt like it was ADR. You could totally tell the way he's moving his mouth. It doesn't feel like he's actually speaking. It felt like they went into the recording booth and record over his dialogue.
He kind of reminded me of an evil Batman. Is how I described him.
He looked like an evil Walmart Batman, Spider-Man combined.
Because he has like his own evil like Batgirl. That's Oracle. She's like literally like, okay, they're going over here. Okay, they're going over here. Okay, and I'm just like, okay, like I said, he's evil Batman. Now I will say the beginning of this movie is atrocious. Where they're
Oh.
in the cave, literally the camera does this at the beginning. It's like, up, okay, like the mom and she's talking to Ezekiel. I was like, up, frozen. I'm like,
Yeah,
who
but the whole relationship just felt like it was all of a sudden there was really no build up in the flashback sequence. Like, what's their relationship? And
fuck?
and he just steals the spiders, and somehow the indigenous just done not fucking bothered to go and capture the guy who stole the spiders from them. It's like, no, let's just save this woman. And no, let's not capture the guy who just stole their spider for
They
some
dress
reason.
like they're literally
It almost looked like they were dressing as Spider-Men. It almost looked like it from the
They look
shot
like they were Venom.
standpoint.
To me, they kind of looked like Freddy Krueger wearing like a black licorice skirt or whatever.
No,
Yeah,
remember
that's
Spider-Man
exactly
3,
true.
Hope for Grace?
All right, Henry Mockingbird is in the chat. Hello, Henry. Good to see you. But just a heads up for everyone watching, this is live, but we will be talking about spoilers. But I have a feeling that if you're watching this, you've either seen it or are just not going to see it.
I literally just record my non-spoiler review when I needed to edit the video. But if you want to watch my non-spoiler review, it will be up soon. So if you don't want to get spoiled, even though I don't really give two shits if I spoil this movie because it's really that bad.
Jeremiah, I do.
Jeremiah Bach is in the chat. Hello, Jeremiah. Krispy Kreme is the superior product, though. Those are the best donuts in existence.
Look, Ben Affleck will probably say "fuck you," but I agree.
No, he probably said like they should have put that fucking Dunkin' Donuts.
He literally just made a Super Bowl commercial.
I guarantee they fucking like go back to Starbucks.
Yeah, but the Dung Kings. But Jeremiah Bach says, "Hi everyone. I know you're here to talk, Madam Web, but do you guys have a take on Coyote versus Acme being shelved for a tax write-off? It sucks. It really sucks.
It sucks. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they had test screenings that had a positive result, and that's good. And yeah, the downside is the stupid thing is that the David Zaslav did not watch the film. It's like, why would you scrap it then? I mean, I get that you're worried that this movie's not going to make any money, and that would then scrapping it will probably be the right decision. But if it has positive results, then show the movie. But for Batgirl, I don't know how good the Batgirl would have looked. It probably would have sucked and it would have ruined the DC brand. But for Madam Web, comparing to this Madam Web movie, I would have been happy if they fucking just scrapped it and not release it and show it to the public. Like, come on. Like, I would have been fine with it.
Spider-Man 3 starting to look like The Dark Knight compared to Madam Web. Oh, okay.
And you know what? Spider-Man 3, at least they tried, even though the movie was a mess, but at least they tried to make a good movie. That's the only thing I will give them props for.
I will say, which there are things I do like about Spider-Man 3, brother. But I will say, with Coyote versus Acme, my issue with that is David Zaslav actually tried to sabotage putting that movie because he told like investors, like there are people, he only wanted a $30 million tax write-off. And he said like, and all the he had studios like Netflix and all them was saying like, look, we'll offer you $60 million or $50 million. And then he would say, nope, $80 million. Nope, $80 million. And then whenever they even had a close offer, one studio, Paramount, had a close offer, and he still said no because he did not want what he wanted to do was say, see, nobody offered me what I wanted, so we're going to scrap it. See, nobody wanted it. When in reality, he had a lot of offers, but he was not wanting to play ball. He was just trying to scrap it to make himself look better. Because if, say, for instance, Paramount would have bought it, put it in theaters, and it did well, then guess what? Who's going to look like an idiot? Warner Brothers. And so he didn't want to look like a fool, so he just scrapped it to make himself look better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel bad for everyone that was involved in the making of that because it looks like unless someone...
He didn't even watch the movie. It says he never saw it.
Like if someone like swoops in and saves the movie, great, but it feels like we're never going to see it. And it's like, this kind of eerily reminds me of like, it's not as like bad as, but like you hear about like older horror movies like from the 1900s and 10s and 20s about how censorship was a thing and how films were like shot on this really ancient nitrite film that was really flammable. Sometimes they're horror movies that we will never see the light of day of because they were burned or like they were thrown out after a theatrical run. They weren't preserved in any way. This is like what we're going through now is worse because like the film has been made, it's been wrapped, it's been ready to go, and just like now you're good, which is arguably worse. So it sucks for the director, for the writer, for the animators, for the actors, for everyone involved. It just
and they literally were never going to take the tax write. They were going to take the tax write-off for $30 million, and then guess what happened? Do you know what happened then? Well, then all these studios, they were having people cancel meetings with them, and they were having all kind of people say give them backlash. So they finally said, you know what, we're gonna shop it around, which they never intended. They even said earlier, that's a lot of scoopers were saying they're not shopping it around. They're just pretending like they're shopping it around, just so that way they can throw it in the garbage after they're done. And in fact, Zaslav just gave the order to delete the files, so that way this memory can never be seen and nobody can steal the movie and off a hard drive.
Yeah, and it's not exactly like Warner Brothers is like stupid with cash right now. It's like they're canceling full-on made movies, and they're like arguably like either bankrupt or going bankrupt. So in the
No,
words
they're
of the
about to buy Paramount. They literally just got out of debt to where they can buy Paramount.
in the words of the wise philosopher Dr. Phil, how's that working out for you? But let's get back into Madam Web. Jacob was talking about the opening of this movie, which is just god awful. I mean, Emmanuel Sims from the very beginning, I'm like, and here's our villain for the evening. Like he just had sus vibes from the very beginning, and then he just plays super dumb.
The dialogues too was like, it feels like they're like, I am like this. How are you doing? Oh no, we have to do this. Oh, and I'm just like, is this a fucking SNL sketch or something? Like to me, right there, I was like, okay, I see why everybody hates it. But then, like at the beginning of the movie, whenever that happened, I'm just like, okay, I see why everybody hates this movie. But then when we got to the present day, which is 2003, I actually started to enjoy the movie. I'm like, okay, she's an AMT, and it's not like okay choppy like it was at the beginning, like where it was like felt like a bad SNL sketch. But then I will say, it started getting really shitty. Whenever it started getting to me, I was like, okay, this is where I was like, okay, I see. Whenever like the fight sequence, whenever he sees his death in the dreams, and it just feels like it's like a Zack Snyder like throwing away. Like, woo! I'm like, who the fuck's having a seizure? The camera's going over here. I'm like, I can't see shit. Focus, ladies.
The camera angle, the camera technique was so shitty and so annoying.
The camera like the same asshole.
Even the costumes for those three girls that are at the target, they look like they came off of a cosplay.
And get a good look at these women in these costumes, including Silver Sable and Black Cat, because that's the only time that you're ever going to see these women in costume.
Silver Sable and Black Cat.
Oh no, those are not so.
No,
those are
Spider Women. No,
they're all Spider Women.
Black Cat or not? No.
Oh, well, that's...
Sydney Sweeney plays Spider Woman. They're all Spider Women.
Yeah, all three of them.
Yeah, they're different versions of Spider Woman. Yeah.
Well, reverse that, scratch that, but get a good look at them in the costume, because literally that in that beginning and the very end are the only times that you see them in those costumes.
But you know what really bugged me was when they threw his ass out the fucking window. when we see Ezekiel in the third act, when he's on the tall 30 fucking feet of building, lands on a fucking truck, a superhero landing, survives it. So he dies from falling off the fucking building. He has all these Spidey powers, and somehow he dies from falling off the fucking building.
Well, to be fair, it's kind of like he's older in the future.
He still has powers. He still has an abilities. It hasn't gone away. He can't do a superhero landing. He doesn't have no reflexes. Like, what the fuck?
The powers haven't gone away. I did
like, and also the old version of Ezekiel, the makeup design and the hair looked so shitty. Oh my god, it looks so awful.
Honestly,
because in the comics, Ezekiel is an old man who has white hair, wears a suit, kind of looks like Beast from X-Men, only his hair's white and he has skin. He's a white guy with skin, and so he looks like that. And he always does this with his feet, like, kind of like how Beast in X-Men, where he hangs from his feet. And I'm like, and so they kind of took that Ezekiel, and then it looked like they really wanted him to have a Spider-Man costume. And they said, let's just get Miles Morales' costume, or like Tobey Maguire's costume from Spider-Man 3, add red to it, and take the spider off, and all right, let's go.
It's literally the same suit without the symbol. Like what are we even doing here, people?
Yeah, I've never seen so much lazy choreographed action, especially the costume designs. It looks stupid as hell.
I was excited for the costume, but then I was like, when you see it up close, you're like, that's not that cool.
It did not translate well, especially with the three Spider Women looked interesting. But yeah, like you said, Ryan, that this is the only time that you see them with when they have powers and they're superheroes. 20 years in the future. I thought, we all thought that they were going to be showing up in sometime a little bit soon, But no, it never. They're still ordinary by the end of the movie.
To
They
quote the
never
late
showed the
great
origins. They never showed the origins.
No, like how did they get their powers? First of all, how did the fuck did they get them?
I
It's
guess
never
the
explained.
spider bites
to
them
quote the
too.
late great to quote the late great Gene's
I bet
sister,
like fucking Madam Web just grabs the spider like, you're gonna get bit.
like she's straight up Hadokening this dude. I'm just like
That was like a
she-
Kamehameha move.
yeah, that's what I was thinking of. But like, what you were right, Matt. How did they get their powers? Were they all simultaneously bitten by spiders? And
Yeah,
they,
it never gets explained. And the three women were the shittiest selective characters ever. They were unlikable, uninteresting, and stupid.
we'll cross that bridge. In
Oh yeah,
just
I
a
can't wait to
minute,
get into
but
that. I can't wait to get
Well, I
into
will
that.
say I did like every time the killer would try to kill them. Like he would come on the train and just like break all their necks and just like, and then she's like, all right, we gotta go. And then he just starts killing these cops left and right. And I'm like, oh shit, like he's just coming. And like it's almost like if Spider-Man was a murderer, like, you know, just going around killing people. And then I will say the scene that had me like, yeah, was the toxic scene, like when they're playing the Britney Spears song.
Oh my god!
I
Oh,
was
that
like-
scene
I was
when I
like,
was
yes!
I was like, it makes me hate the song even more when they play that. Like, I hate the song
I
even more.
loved it.
number
Every time
one,
he kills somebody a verse, every time he hit a verse, he'd kill one
First
girl.
of all, why were these three stupid girls are dancing on the table? No waiter even tell them to get the fuck down. You're not allowed to dance on a table. What the fuck is
Maybe.
going on right now?
number one, I'm more of a baby one more time guy than a toxic guy.
Well,
Number
you understand
two-
why it's played toxic, right? You understand why?
Yeah,
Because,
it-
like, you know, the guy's toxic and he's killing them. That's the whole joke of the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
At that point, even God's going to you.
Can
Yeah,
it even be more on the nose with the shit? The
I
song
just thought that was a
choices?
great sequence. The only thing I had issue with that whole sequence, one thing I had an issue with, she literally walks to the diner, but yet she gets in a cab and it takes her forever to get there. And I'm like,
Yeah, exactly. Because the first time when she was having that vision, she's walking. She gets to the diner quicker on foot. Then the second time, she drives all around, takes the long fucking way for that bad guy to show up in the diner.
Logs, a log truck, and I was just sitting there like, this is the opening of the next Friday Final Destination movie.
And also these three girls, like they were supposed to keep a low profile, and yet you're going to the fucking shitty truck stop in public when you're supposed to keep a low profile, but you're drawing more attention for the bad guy to show up and kill you.
and then like on top of that, I will say I grew up in the South, so I know like there are ways, like for instance, there's restaurants where like, oh, I can walk through here and get here faster, versus I have to go all the way on the interstate and go around to get to there. So I will say, in their offense, that is logical in some ways, in some parts of the world, not in everywhere. But I will say though, I did think it was kind of stupid though the way. He just comes in and she just runs him over the car. Like,
I know. It's like, I'm surprised I don't know if she killed anybody in that restaurant.
Like, you should have started with that.
And also, yeah, she leaves these three girls in the fucking woods by themselves for 3 hours while she went to go and get her mom's fucking belongings. Like, you couldn't bring them with you?
well, I mean,
You're gonna leave these three girls alone?
She escaped to the woods.
Let's circle back to that moment, but let's talk about for a moment Dakota Johnson. Now, she is a very good actress. I let's just get that out of the way right here
You
now.
loved her in 50 Shades of Grey, huh?
I haven't seen those movies for a reason, but
I avoided that. I avoided that franchise. I avoided it.
Crazy right now.
She is a good actress, and like her character comes across as completely unlikable, and I could tell the amount of the demeanor of this character from the moment where she's in the hospital and she's like talking to Adam Scott, and the kid walks up to her like, take the drawing, and she's like, what am I supposed to do with this?
What am I supposed to do with this? Oh, what? She just did not seem likable. She's supposed to be nice to the fucking little girl when they give her a children's drawing of a family drawing to a paramedic, and she was so rude. She just sounded so rude to that girl.
Like, she's awful, and then
I was like, she's a shitty person.
I think
she's
she was
awful. And then in literally the next scene, she and Adam Scott are talking. Adam Scott's Ben Parker, by the way.
Oh, and here's the thing. You know the product placement, the first product placement when they drove by Blockbuster, and then another one when they were having their own Chinese food. Guess what they were drinking? Code Red. It was literally in your face.
Yeah.
It was in your face.
Which,
Yeah,
by
I
the way,
got a Mountain Dew myself, but except I don't have Code Red, so yeah, joke's on me.
which I will say one thing: Adam Scott was great as Ben Parker. Adam Scott
He was the only good part about that movie. He actually
Oh, wow.
cared. He actually tried to act.
Adam Scott's always like a 10 out of 10. When you need a
Oh,
10, Adam
absolutely.
Scott is always there.
This is supposed to be Uncle Ben.
Yeah, which you know, I read about this. This movie had issues. So originally, the idea was they're going to make Andrew Garfield, like the Spider-Man of this universe. But then they said Sony was like, Tom Holland's right now really popular and everything. So then guess what? They decided to pivot to him. And guess what happened? They realized they messed up the continuity of the timeline was messed up because they're like, this should be like 98 or 97 because Tom Holland's like was not born in 2003.
I don't even think they know what universe they're supposed to be in for Spider-Man. I don't think
it
they
kind
have
of makes
clue.
sense for Tom Holland because I would
Tom
believe
Holland,
that.
yeah, I believe it. I almost believed that it would have been Andrews, but no. Because if you look back in the Amazing Spider-Man 1, Ben Parker was not an EMT. He was not
Yeah.
like he was not.
That's what I'm saying. Tom
at all.
Holland. I would believe that this is Tom Holland's universe because
I don't believe it either. I mean, it almost had me convinced.
He was he was
Jeremiah
an
Butler.
agent at one of the 3-letter agencies, if the Amazing Spider-Man movies are to be believed.
And also, they couldn't even mention Peter. They couldn't even mention Peter Parker for some stupid reason. Even
Well,
when
originally
Sony
they
just
had
couldn't even
stuff
say
in
it.
there.
They
I wanna
own the
touch on
character,
that.
dude.
I want to touch on that in a minute, but we do have a comment. Yes, you barely get to see the costumes or their powers. Like the writers barely cared about writing an actual superhero film. Yeah, that's facts. Doug Walker said there was more of the costumes in the trailer than the film.
Who's
That's
Doug Walker?
Nostalgia Critic.
Who's that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, but all that shit was all wasted in the trailer. That was just a dream sequence. That's what it was.
In the words of Gene Siskel, a dream sequence. Nothing irritates me more than a dream sequence. I want to just punch.
He kept seeing them die in his dreams. I'm like, to be fair, it'd be like if you have a dream that you're gonna get raped and you keep getting raped in your dream. Doesn't mean you're gonna get raped in real life. That's your dream. So you're like, I'm gonna go find somebody and kill them. So did you
notice? But did you notice that with the hacker girl that he hired to fucking track down these 3 girls, she has a fucking advanced tech in the early 2000s. How it's a fucking Iron Man some shit. And also, how the fuck did they get that costume accurate from the AI design? Even though that technology would not exist in that time.
He says they figure out these girls' faces from his dreams, and they're like it's almost like they went inside his brain and got the images and put them on the computer because there's no way she could have figured out. I mean, unless he did a drawing and then she was able to match the drawing, that'd be more believable. But
no, because with the technology stuff, that would not fly like that.
She's got the setup from The Dark Knight where Lucius Fox is like shown this and is like, if this is here, I'm not a part of it. All it's missing is Batman being like.
But don't you think it was a little strange scene when he wakes up from a random woman, who ends up being part of the
NSA.
NSA, yeah. She's I have a dream that I'm gonna die. Like, why are you speaking to a random fucking woman you just met at the fucking opera? Like, what the hell is going on?
No, I can defend that because he went there to sleep with her. He went there to seduce her, to bring her to his house so he could torture her but he had sex with her first. So he's like, oh, I'm gonna sleep, but then before she sneaks out, I'm gonna kill her. But I guess after he had sex, he decided I'm gonna take a nap first. I will say he should have got this over with before or after.
Yeah, the scene was so awkward. Like, why would you say that out loud?
I can believe he's like,
she'll be like, no, and she was like, oh, okay. Like, you act like you knew each other for a long time when you just met. Like, what the fuck is going on? That was so unsettling.
By the way, I kind of want to know.
Yeah, never heard of Toxic. Looked it up. It seems fine, but meh. Although the music video is kind of steamy in a shamelessly, deliberately stupid way. I kind of respect it, almost. But
which, you know what, I will say, this is not the first movie this is not the first thing to have an action sequence with the song Toxic being played. Because literally, I was watching an episode of Doctor Who in the season 1. They played this song, and they're about to the Earth's about to blow up on the space station, and all of a sudden they play the song Toxic.
I know the episode you're talking about. It's the woman with the stretched out face, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and I watched it recently, and I'm like, and I saw someone, and they were like, "This is so stupid." They're playing that song Toxic. And they're like, but it's so funny. It's because Doctor Who likes being cheesy at moments. This is so funny, and this reminded me of that. I'm like, okay, they watch Doctor Who obviously because they know that this is like okay, it has to be cheesy when these murders happen. Like, also, I did think that the villain, him going around killing people, like for instance, I thought that was pretty cool. He's like, look, I'm trying to save myself, and I will say I thought that was cool, and I also like the fact that I will say when she goes in the water, there's no way she would have lived through that. Like she would have drowned and died. And on top of that, how did Ben Parker get out? Did he jump in there after her? Like they would have to get a boat. That water's so deep, especially on that bridge. That water's deep. And it's not even the same bridge, by the way. It's not even the same bridge. It looks like a little mom and pop bridge. It doesn't even look
because the script said so. They're like, don't worry about it. I need you to get all the way off my back about it.
Honestly, everything about this villain just is completely terrible.
He was boring. He was so boring. Like what's his real purpose other than trying to save himself?
Even down to the technical side of things, they couldn't get it right. Jacob, I want you to do something for me. Just pretend like you're talking, and I'm going to talk over you. So, like, just move your lips, and then I'm going to... Every night, I see the same vision of me dying. Every night I lie in bed. A vision of the world I'll see. A million things are all it's going to take. A million dreams for the world they're going to make. That's literally like the dialogue that this dude has to say.
His dialogue was so wooden and dry. He looked like he's just saying the fucking
lines.
Like,
there's a movie,
doesn't it just seem weird that the script felt like it was written by an AI, even though I don't think it was, but it felt like it was written by an AI. Like, who the fuck is writing this script right now? This fucking atrocious dialogue.
Have you ever seen Toxic Avenger? The whole character, the lead the Toxic Avenger, he does not even talk. What he does is they have the narrator of the film talk over him, where he's like, "It's okay. Like, do that again, Ryan. Do that again. All right. Like you mouth and I'll talk now.
Okay.
It's okay, mother. I am fine. But act like you're angry. Like you're like, it is okay, mother. I am fine. It's fine. Okay, everyone. Like that type of voice. That type of voice. Literally, and that movie, but that movie's supposed to be campy, okay? That movie's meant to be like it's a shitty, cheesy movie. But like that's what I think of. I'm like, dude, if we know that's not what you're saying, so I'm like, come on, like it must have been something else. But then they're like, oh, we got to change the dialogue, so we're just gonna get the actor to come in and redub it.
It was redubbed. It sounded so redubbed, as I mentioned before. It didn't sound like it was an actual actor speaking. It felt like I see his lips moving, but I can't make out the words. I'm deaf.
Can we talk about her going blind, by the way? She goes blind by getting hit with a firework underwater.
No, like where did that come from?
The firework goes, ah! And I'm just like, she's supposed to be blind in the comics, but like a firework hits her in the eyes. It just reminded me of
That's how she loses her sight? Like what the hell?
It just reminded me of X-Men Origins Wolverine. When Wolverine gets shot in the head with an adamantium bullet, and I'm like,
and he loses his memory.
That's not what happened in the X-Men 1.
But have you seen the deleted scenes version that was taken out of the original cut of Wolverine? That they were going to use that machine to erase his memories, and he wanted to forget everything about his past. That would have been more better and convincing, other than this stupid shit.
I mean, seriously, he literally was like this. She literally gets hit with a firework, and she's like, I'm blind. And I'm like, why is she in a wheelchair? Did she become paralyzed too?
How did she get paralyzed from the waist down? How is that possible? And she kind of turned around like she's fucking female Professor X. She illegally takes these three teenagers as their ward, even though that they have parents that they're still around, and she just illegally takes them in.
It reminded me of the TV show Birds of Prey. You ever seen it?
I have not seen the TV show version of Birds of Prey.
It was literally meant to be like a rival to Smallville. And it ran for one season, and everybody said, this is a piece of shit. It was meant to rival Smallville. By the way, if you've never looked at it, I own the first season. It is not great, and it's not even comic book accurate. It's called Birds of Prey. It ran like Sean Levy was a producer on the show, and I think he directed the pilot. Aaron Johnson, what's his name? Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad.
Aaron Paul
in the first episode.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Harley Quinn's supposed to be the main secret villain of the show. Like the whole mastermind, the whole first season. And they got the girl from the movie Legend with Tom Cruise, Mia Sorvani or whatever, to play Harley Quinn. And she never puts on a costume. And Clayface is literally a mobster that literally just looks like the shitty version of the Thing costume from the 90s. Roger Moore and Fantastic Four. Clayface is, yeah, what's up? I'm Clayface, yeah. And all of
Well, the entire season is on Tubi, so I guess I know what I'm doing after this stream is over.
Oh boy.
No, it's all the whole first season, and it counts that first season. It wraps itself up nicely, but I'm like, still, it's so weird and shitty.
It's
Well,
kind of reminds you of fucking Gotham Knights on the CW that they did that got canceled after one season. They're dressing up in street clothes, not comic book accurate.
I'm just saying, come on, Madam Web does feel like a CW.
It does.
But
It does feel like a CW in a bad way.
I'm just saying, like, honestly, I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it is terrible. I do think there are some things I do like about it. Like, I like the whole Ben Parker. They're staying with Ben Parker and they're watching I Know What You Did Last Summer.
I mean, you're apprehending the fucking kidnappers and the fucking fugitive. So yeah.
And then she's a fugitive. They never touch on her being a fugitive at all. I thought like, oh, she killed more people. I thought I was gonna. Oh, she killed more people at the Waffle House.
Like, did they not witness the fucking black dude in the suit murdering the cops, and they don't remember that?
They can't remember because they can't see him. Only she can see him. Which, by the way, how did Ben Parker see him?
Good question.
In the words of Val Kilmer from Batman Forever, it just raises too many questions.
But also the surprise appearance was Mary Parker, played by Emma Roberts, the mother of Peter Parker.
Oh, they dragged poor Emma Roberts into this.
I did not expect her to be in the movie, and it took me off guard. I was like, wait, what? She's in this movie?
This is probably, I know this is sad to say, but this is the best movie Mike Epps has ever been in.
Mike Epps, are like, where the hell did he come from? I did not know he was in this movie too.
This is the first time I don't think he plays a stereotypical character in this movie. Usually in every freaking movie he does, he's always a stereotypical black guy.
The barbecue scene looked like they were in the Fast and Furious. Why does every franchise need to have a barbecue?
Because
all about the family.
All about the
She-Hulk has done it. She-Hulk has fucking done it. They've done the same thing.
Do not take notes. Listen, all right, Future. I know you're watching this, Future Studio execs. Do not take fucking notes from Fast and Furious, okay?
Don't take notes from this shitty franchise. Don't
take notes from them. Those are the worst people to take notes from, okay? You cannot.
But dude, did you know that the Madam Web was holding the Pepsi can because she couldn't drink fucking brewskis? But the Pepsi product was literally just plain view open, and you couldn't even take your eyes off of it.
It reminded me so much of the Siskel and Ebert review where they talked about Leonard Part 6, where Ebert's like, Bill Cosby, the richest man in show business, $60 million a year income, reduced to holding a Coca-Cola bottle next to his face to get a movie made at Columbia. So I just rework it.
But I will say the one product placement was the best. The worst best product placement was in Transformers Age of Extinction, the Bud Light scene of Marky Mark.
Like, dude,
it was just literally right. Like, I don't know how that happened. Like is that scene itself, like, was that meant to be in the gag reel and you just thought you can just put that in there for the joke?
You know what's really sad about that product placement? You're advertising beer, alcohol in a kid's movie.
Yeah.
It's literally a movie that's about a kid, but this is a movie based on kids' toys, and you're literally advertising alcohol in this movie.
But it's a PG-13 movie; they can get away with it. It's a PG. If it was a PG, then that'd be different. Then yeah, you cross the line.
Safe to say that is the most controversial thing that Bud Light will ever be a part of in their history. But
even Marky Mark did it again with that whole fucking Transformers drone, giving the Bud Light to fucking Mark in the 5th movie. I was like, oh god, they brought it back again.
But to Matt, I believe your point earlier, what do we know about these three girls that are kidnapped but not kidnapped, but really they are kidnapped? I mean, we all know that they have parents, but they're like in different situations, so they're sort of kind of orphans, and that's literally the only thing that connects them, except like Madam Web can see the future and like they're about to be like destroyed. So it's like what
connects them that makes them so special? I don't understand. They have parents that they're not around. They're essentially, they're essentially sort of orphans, but not really. I don't know how that makes any sense, and why they have to be so connected. They never explain it. There's so many plot holes.
Their backstories. I've read pro wrestling trading cards that have had more nuanced backstories than the backstories here. Like, it boils down to Sydney Sweeney. My mom's in a psych ward. Like Isabel Merced, Anya Corazon. My dad got deported. Matty Franklin. My parents are asshole billionaires. So like, riveting. It's like what?
Oh, awesome. I don't care.
How
And also,
sad for
Sydney
you.
Sweeney's character is supposed to be the geek, shy girl.
I
You're
didn't
gonna
buy
make
it
me.
for a
Is this
single
another
second.
typical 2000s where have the glasses and dress up in a geek outfit and you still don't look hot? Like, is this one of those typical again? Like, are
The
we way
Spears
past it
outfit.
at this point? Like, you're gonna convince me that she's supposed to be the geek?
The Britney Spears outfit. That's what popped into my head.
You literally dress up like you're in a Britney Spears video.
Hit that one more time.
There you go.
Also, yeah, this movie also. I always say the one girl from Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah, I cannot believe I didn't recognize her when I watched the movie until like 5 minutes. I was like, oh, that's definitely her from Ghostbusters Afterlife. I knew she looked familiar.
Oh, I did not. I didn't catch that. Which one?
The skateboard chick, the one with the rich parents.
Oh, she's lucky. Okay, I'm looking up her IMDb now, but I
And
recognize.
Isabella, the actress Isabella, she's going to be in another comic book property. She's going to be playing Hawkgirl in James Gunn's Superman Legacy.
Now,
So she's
hers
in both
sound funny.
Marvel and DC.
And she's
And
gonna be in she's gonna be in season 2 of The Last of Us.
Oh
So-
yeah, she is. She's definitely going to be in The Last of Us season 2. I forgot she was going to be in that show.
So the movie stars it just, I don't know. It just, like I said, we're reading something in the private chat,
Oh boy.
y'all.
Actually, read that out loud. Read it out loud.
Okay.
You want me to read it out loud?
Yeah, read it out loud.
This movie stars 50 Shades of Webb, the girl who is nude in every project, the black girl from Ghostbusters Afterlife, Isabella. I can't wait to jump to DC.
And I mean,
Oh
There's a
my
good-
god.
that's as good a place as any to talk about like the state of Sony's I can't believe it's not Spider-Man cinematic universe. I mean, like, what are they even doing with this?
Why is Sony trying to single-handedly destroy these popular like Spidey characters that we love? Especially, look, I don't know how you feel about the Venom movies, but I thought they were garbage and I hated the way they treated the Venom character. They did not do him justice. And I know that some people really love that movie, even though I don't know what the fuck they've been smoking. But we can all agree that Morbius was the fucking worst of the worst. And we're like, why unwatchable, boring. I feel like that Sony itself, outside of the Spider-Man movies, including the animated movies, it just seems like they're trying to intentionally bomb this movie on purpose. That's what it feels like.
Well, I mean,
Sony, and it's no
not
coincidence that they dropped the review embargo a day before its release. And it was
That's
like, yeah, because they
never-
know it sucks.
That's never a good sign. But Jacob, go ahead. You were saying.
Well, I mean, I think what it is, this project, like this project was written in like a couple of months, and on top of that, like, my biggest fear is that because it's like Sony keeps tampering with, like, Sony tampered with Morbius because they think, okay, they know, like, for instance, they know Venom is like their biggest money maker out of the spinoffs, and so they're like, look, we can't touch Spider-Man right now because of our deal with the MCU. The only time, unless it's either in TV form or if it's in animated form, they cannot do a live action Spider-Man. That's why I feel, why don't they just make Amazing Spider-Man 3 and Spider-Man 4? Because they would love to. They would absolutely, if Disney, they didn't have a deal with Disney, they would absolutely do that.
Oh yeah, I think yeah, you're probably right because it's probably written in their contract with Disney is saying that, hey, we're still going to do Tom Holland's Spider-Man, but you guys cannot do a solo Spider-Man live action movies. You can still do animation, but you cannot do movies live action.
That's what Disney would never allow.
Oh yeah, if Disney allowed that to have Andrew and Toby have their own solo movies, a proper sequel, they would have done it a long time ago. I always kept questioning, like, why are they still not doing this now? But now, from what you're saying, Jake, it makes perfect sense why they're not doing it.
Yeah, because they said Sony, like, they're in their contract. It says what John Campion is talking about. In their contract, it says for the MCU, it says they are not allowed. They get exclusive rights to Marvel. They get exclusive rights to live action theatrical Spider-Man.
And it all depends. And it all depends how long their contract will be up. I mean, they know they extended it, but they need to know what we still don't know how long it lasts in their contract until Sony takes it back.
Was originally the first two movies. After a bit, once they got into a dispute and they almost ended it. once they were, I think that's when Disney said, no, okay, yeah, you want to play, because I think before Disney it was neutral, where they're like, I think they could have, but they didn't want to, because remember Sony wanted Tom Holland to appear.
Wow.
Yeah, Tom Holland wanted him here in Venom, but then they changed it because they're like, yeah, they said Marvel said, can you please cut that because we don't really want to be in that universe. We want that universe to be on its own. And this,
Yeah, so they originally wanted Tom Holland to be in the Venom movie with Tom Hardy, which
yeah,
is
he
no
wanted that
surprise. But I
which
guess they said no.
because they said, you know what? Because they have exclusive. The only time they allowed it was when Venom 2, which they said, can Tom Hardy be in our movie? And they said, yeah, but if Tom Holland can be in our movie, and they said he can have a cameo at the end of Venom.
Which was kind of pointless in No Way Home for his cameo. Like he's there, and then he comes and goes. The only thing he left behind was the symbiote. So now the MCU can have the symbiote with Spider-Man with Tom Holland in the MCU. It's just planting the seeds if they ever want to touch on the symbiote storyline.
Which it really sucks because right now I understand why they don't do a Spider-Man 4, because if they did Spider-Man 4 or Amazing Spider-Man 3, because then what would happen is then people would probably feel like, well, why do I have to go watch Tom Holland's movie because I just saw a Spider-Man movie? That's like DC.
That's a good point if it before No Way Home. But I think after No Way Home, I think now people are willing to see multiple versions of Spider-Man together. They know they exist in different universes. They know Andrew exists in his own universe. Toby, they fell in love all three of them together. So it almost made $2 billion. So it would be easy to take advantage of that.
I'm gonna tell you why you're wrong, Matt. Okay, one reason: the Flash.
What does the Flash have to do with Spider-Man?
Because the Batman came out. I'm saying the Batman came out. Okay, DC tried that. We're like, okay, we have 3 different Batmans going on at one time. Okay, we have Michael Keaton as Batman, Ben Affleck as Batman, and then we have another Batman, Robert Pattinson. Okay, so they tried that, and it didn't work out to its advantage because
to be fair, that's a different circumstances for different reasons why the Flash failed as it did. But the Batman, it still made a whole lot of money at the box office, and they're still gonna. And even James Gunn said, like, we're still gonna do Brave and the Bold, even though that they're still gonna be doing the Matt Reeves' Batman trilogy, and they're gonna slap this as an Elseworld story. So that's why I don't agree with what from your point, but because they can still make a lot of money, even though with Andrew and Toby, they're going to be putting out Spider-Mans at the same time. They can still make a lot. The Flash failed for different reasons. It had nothing to do with Batman.
Well, I mean, I know, but like from a studio exec's point of view, they're probably gonna be like, "Well, see, then nobody wants to see multiple Batman." I'm like, that's bullshit. That's like saying nobody wants to see multiple Spider-Mans. The reason why the Spider-Man did so well is because we get to see this universe of these people team up together to defeat another universe. People love that, but when it's like trying, like, the Flash really wasn't that. To be fair, the Flash was just him teaming up with a different Batman from a different universe. And then that's it. It wasn't like, it was more like Days of Future Past than it was.
But also the DCEU had many baggages that the fans don't quite trust them, and they've been flopping for the last 5 years. So the MCU, that's a totally different circumstances altogether.
Yeah, but I will say Sony's issue is they can't really do nothing. They're in a corner, okay? They're in a corner, and they can't really, like, now they know what gold is, and they know what shit is. And the only thing is they can't touch the gold because someone else has their gold. So then they're like, look, we're just hoping that we could turn one of these shitty projects into gold. And unfortunately, they just keep getting shit.
Also, just make a good movie. Just do the best you can to make a good movie without Spider-Man. I mean, look at, for instance, Joker 1 with Todd Phillips. That made a fuckload of money, and it didn't have Batman in it. And actually, I'm one of the people that fucking love that film, and we're getting the sequel. So you can do Elseworld stories without Spider-Man. Just don't make shitty films. Just hire good writers and directors who actually care and put their heart into it.
Do you think that
if you build the quality movies, people will go.
Sony is like, it's quantity over quality.
That's why Joker made all of the money, because, well, a lot of reasons. Let's not get it twisted, but just.
I will say, Sony, I will say, a lot of people say, oh, Sony should give the rights up to Marvel. No, I'm going to tell you right now, Marvel has actually Sony has succeeded more with their solo Spider-Man universe than they have with the MCU. Yeah. Yes, they made their first billion with MCU, but that's because everybody wanted to see Spider-Man in the MCU. And
that was prior to Spider-Man coming into the MCU. They made $1 billion off of the Avengers. Then
Yeah.
Iron Man 3 made $1 billion because it was coming off of the heels of the
Yeah.
Avengers. Because it's momentum. They've been putting out banger after banger. It's success. Winning cures everything.
Yeah. In which I think, like, because like two of the best Spider-Man movies are not even from the MCU. It's two of the best Spider-Man movies are Spider-Man 2 and obviously Into the Spider-Verse are two of their best movies. Because and you know what, a lot of people will agree because they said, you know what, those are two movies, and so much so where and whenever Tom Holland, they tried, obviously if you watched Homecoming, they so hardly tried to rip off a Spider-Man 2 where like Spider-Man's like trying to go to school and everything. I'm like, yeah, because everybody, they know where they come from, which Kevin Feige's not an idiot. He knows where he come from. And he's like, look, Kevin Feige has openly said that he consulted on the first Venom movie. He did not consult in the sequel or anything after. Like he said, none of the Sony projects he consulted on before. Like he said, he only consulted on the first. He consulted on Venom and Into the Spider-Verse, and then the rest of the projects he never consulted on. Which that makes sense because Kevin Feige is a smart guy. I just think he's been making some bad decisions. He's not him, but it's just been like his company's been making.
It's just like through Phase 4 and 5, he didn't really have that much power over these projects for Disney Plus series and movies. But now they put him back in the higher power, and they're trying to retool the MCU. You can tell right now that they're trying to like fucking go back in the middle of a rehabilitation, starting with Deadpool and Wolverine. That's their biggest savior for the MCU if this movie succeeds. If this movie sucked and it doesn't make as much money as they were hoping for, they lose all the faith. The audiences will lose faith in the MCU altogether if this
Deadpool literally, if Deadpool saves the universe, he will be Marvel Jesus.
Exactly, literally.
I mean,
and figuratively.
I will say, Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man to death, and I always say, I don't think Sony. It's not. I don't blame Sony necessarily. I think they're trying to because I think what it is Marvel really wants them to fail, so that way they get the rights back because they know if they don't make a Spider-Man movie within so many years, then the rights revert back to Disney, and so that's what they're trying to get them to fail. And so they're like, "Hi, watch this. We got loopholes. We can make a Spider-Man TV show. We can make a Spider-Man animated movie. We can make a Spider-Man villain movie. We're gonna make. Guess what?
But that's one thing I don't think they will ever do is put Spider-Man on TV, on streaming. They will never do that. Spider-Man is made for the theatrical release, and it's made a shit ton of money. And there's no way hell, because if you put him on television for live action, you can do an animation all you want, and that you can get away with that. But for live action, you're completely downgrading the character even more. And like, why should I go see this in the theater when I can watch this live action for free?
Yeah,
on TV? Like, that wouldn't make any sense.
I don't think that they can just do like a straight up Spider-Man TV series because I think that's part of. I think what it is like they literally have like they literally, I think, like for instance they just announced a Nicolas Cage Spider-Man noir show.
Yes.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember they
mentioned
that earlier.
I think because they can't really do a Spider-Man like a live action Spider-Man.
Yeah, they can't. Yeah, they can't really make a live action Peter Parker Spider-Man. But for Spider-Man Noir, who is not and his name is not Peter Parker. For Noir, they're gonna because they can't name him Peter Parker. Because then again, you cannot put Peter Parker in a TV show, in a live action TV show.
Which I will say, I do think that I would not want them to do any TV shows with Spider people because I feel like that's kind of downgrading the character. I really do.
I completely agree with you, 100%.
I also that's like when they did Gotham.
Unless they do the Smallville approach and do the high school thing, but
high school Peter Parker. I literally thought about that. I was like, why don't they do like a Peter Parker before he becomes Spider-Man? Harry Osborn, you have MJ and all that, and then of course you get to see him in the final series, the series finale, him put on the Spider-Man costume and fight the Rhino.
And I've heard that they've been working on that animated series of Spider-Man freshman year, where they're telling that Elseworld story of what if that Tony Stark was not the one who approached him in Civil War. It was Norman Osborn that made the suit for him in freshman year.
Have you seen that?
I saw the arts, and I was like, oh wow, they're changing gears of where it's not Tony Stark, it's now Norman Osborn.
Yeah, originally, and that project went through seven different development teams. Originally, when the concept was it was going to be a prequel to Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Then they're like, nope, now it's its own thing, and now it's getting its animation that they showed artwork for is now getting retooled altogether, meaning that they're going to have new animation too.
Yeah,
which I'm just like,
I'm not surprised.
Which I will say with this Madam Web, I do think, besides the product placement, I do like that. Like I was like predicting the movie easily. I'm like, okay, what's going to happen? She's going to go over to Fort Brazil, and because when the guy said at the beginning, oh, he said when you come back here, I will tell her all her stuff, and I'm like, okay, she's got to go back to Brazil. So she goes. I'm like, yep, she goes back there. And the only thing is, though, the guy who looked like by the way, he looked like Topher Grace in Spider-Man 3 when he got the Venom. Which
Yeah.
is the mask
Yeah, it was like a stripe. It looked like fucking stripe, fucking licorice, black licorice.
He's just
pouring in the
normal.
right.
He's dressed normal. He's got a
He's dressed in
normal.
a normal fucking clothes, and also you waited all these years for Madame Web to show up in Peru when you could have fucking contacted her a long time ago when she's at a certain age. Like,
He's just
why
normal
now?
too. He looks like it's like, wow, did you guys just like, did you guys evolve or something? Like, really? I'm just like, hey, we wear clothes now. We don't dress like tribal men. It's like, I'm just like, hey, I was like, guess what? He goes, it says, I have underwear on.
Good for you. But
Like, oh my God. Do you know that water? Do you know that they have fluoride in water? Oh my God. And they have a thing called toothpaste. And the funny is,
it looks like spider cum in the
also, I can wipe my ass with a thing called toilet paper.
that water, and the fact that like looking into the future is involved, it kind of reminded me of Minority Report, the Steven Spielberg movie.
Oh yeah, I remember now. Now that you brought it up, yeah, that has a little similarity. And also the projection of her, that astral projection. He did that Doctor Strange style where he just slaps the soul out of her. That was so Doctor Strange shit right there.
It's like
Dr.
Minority Report.
Doctor Strange, fuck you, is at the end of the movie when she's in the wheelchair and it looks like they're in the sanctum.
The sanctum, yeah, I know what you're talking about. She's staring at the window, and the fucking scene, like you said, it looked like the fucking sanctum
Santorum, yeah.
Yeah, and the window looked like a web because one of the best scenes in the movie, The Crow, where the crow is looking out of the broken window, the only thing that was missing is the fact that the window looked like a crow. Jeez.
And also, have you keep noticing that every time she comes across a vehicle or a building, there's always a cracked glass? Like they were trying to make it look like a fucking visual of Web on purpose.
Oh my God, I am Madam Web.
Oh my God.
I mean, I'm just saying there are some parts of this movie where I'm just like, yeah, I don't buy that.
And also when she's in the hospital, when she's blind, and you talk about Ben Parker, it's like he's having fun being an uncle. You have no idea. Wink. Like we know. Like we're that fucking. They treat us like we're idiots.
He should have walked in and said, I hope I don't get shot one day.
I hope I don't get shot. I guarantee she knows everything. She knows what's gonna happen to Uncle Ben. Like, oh fuck. And don't you think that's kind of strange that they couldn't just put a glimpse of Spider-Man in their visions? Like 20 years in the future, they're still don't see Spider-Man.
I thought they were going to show visions of Spider-Man, like
at least an Easter egg, like show Spider-Man. Like if like for some reason they couldn't even call him Peter Parker, and they were playing on that name. Like, come on, you still own the rights, and you can still say the name. Well, I don't like how stupid do you think we are?
Do you think when Kang Dynasty comes out, or if it's called Kang Dynasty, do you think that
it comes out at all?
Do you
think you believe that Madam Web would appear in Kang Dynasty or Secret
Well,
Wars?
because it's a giant universe and she has to see.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be shocked if
I don't know.
Like, we'll throw her in as a funny.
I don't think that they were willing to put her in because the box office results have not been doing well, and they'll probably say, hey, if it's not doing well, like we're not just gonna put her in if it didn't work the first time with this movie. Like, why should we care to see her?
She-Hulk.
Oh my God.
She-Hulk will be in. You don't think She-Hulk's going to be in Kang Dynasty?
No, I do believe she'll be in it. That would definitely.
I'm just saying.
Happen.
So we're talking about
it's going to happen.
Flops.
Well, for She-Hulk, it's on Disney Plus show. They can get away with that. They didn't have her own movie.
Also, the Eternals were a flop. So I mean, you don't think?
Oh yeah, that's true. That was a flop too. No mention to them. No mention to that fucking big ass Titan that is still standing in a statue that never even bothered to mention it.
I'm getting to the point where that's not even going to be addressed.
Like, I have a big feeling that Eternals is probably going to get retconned. They're not even mentioning these characters whatsoever in this content.
They actually thought that the movie was going to be big. I was listening to Michael Rosen's podcast, and he had what's his name on there?
Oh, Camille Nanjiani.
He said we literally thought the movie was going to be huge. Like we're doing we did a whole worldwide press tour and everything. We thought we were going to get Oscar nominations, and then and people come out like, this is a terrible.
It got mixed response. They thought it was going to be big.
It was not. It was like I watched it. I'm like, I don't get
It
it.
was okay. It was all right. And
Yeah.
people keep that, and I hear a lot of people saying like they could have done this as a Disney Plus series because there's so many characters. I don't think it wouldn't make a lick of a difference if you made a show or a movie. You just need to make a good fucking movie. You had numbers of people in Guardians of the Galaxy, numbers of characters. Do you need them to have their own Disney Plus show to
And here's
establish
the
them?
thing.
No, it's all about execute your characters, make sure they have a share amount of screen time, and execute it. That's all you have to do in a 2-hour movie.
They shouldn't have done
You don't need a
Eternals.
you don't need a Disney Plus show to make it work.
They should not have done Eternals. They should not. They should have stuck to their guns and said, like, just like, remember when they said, "Oh, Inhumans is going to be an ABC TV series," and then look how that worked out for you.
Yeah, the Inhumans. When they tried the Inhumans and it flopped, it was a major flop. I didn't even watch it. I watched
Ryan
the
went
trailer.
and saw it in theaters. Ryan went and saw the
saw it.
You saw that in
saw it.
IMAX. You saw the IMAX screen. You
I have a poster.
you watched this cinematic achievement.
Yes.
Ryan, it's like, yeah,
It's the future of cinema.
Woo! Iron Fist showrunner too that made it. Iron Fist.
Oh my god! I did not know Iron Fist showrunner made that show. I had no idea.
I did not know until I saw like that tracks Iron Fist. The guy who did not understand Iron Fist is like, wait until you see what I do. And
it was kind of odd in the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. One of the Illuminati group was blackballed, and it was played by the same actor, Anson Mount, who played Black Bolt in the Humans show. That was definitely the same actor.
Smallville alum.
Yep, even Smallville. Yeah.
I just think honestly, I really think that Anson Mount really was like, Anson Mount's hoping like, I hope I get to play Black Bolt one more time. Put me in Secret Wars, man.
Secret Wars possible. They could bring him in. They're
I'm
probably bringing in everybody from the multiverse of the Marvel universe.
Ang Lee's Hulk, everyone.
That wouldn't be surprising either. And also, do fucking Hulk justice. You're completely fucking the character up again and again. Like, come on, get back to the Hulk that we love.
I call it now. All three Hulks need to meet.
There you go.
Well, we're nearly an hour in. We're 57 minutes deep. As far as Madam Web goes, Jacob thought it was okay. Matt and I thought it was god awful.
How would you grade it?
Oh God, like 1 to 5, like a 0.5.
I would say it's at least a 3 out of 5.
Where's your big red hat and beard, Santa? You just gave them a gift.
I think that a 3. I mean, it's not like, is it the worst I've ever seen? No. Is it the greatest thing? No. I mean, I will say it is definitely a little bit better than Morbius.
Not saying much. It's made Morbius more
like the Dark Knight.
It made it look like the Dark Knight.
I would watch this on Blu-ray again. If when I buy the Blu-ray, I would watch it again.
If I had to force myself to watch that fucking movie again, I would have to watch it with a group of people, just to watch their reaction and how in a painless torture. If I had to force myself to watch this movie again,
I would skip.
Jacob, I'm going to be sending you a YouTube link later. It's a course on how to spend your money wisely.
Yeah. I can always wait till Black Friday, you asshole. I'm sure it's gonna hit Blu-ray around April or May. So that'll probably be a birthday.
It's gonna hit on digital VOD very soon in about a few weeks. Just wait and see.
It will. It will.
It's going to.
By the way, does that make fucking sense to you guys? If you're trying to get your money back on these projects, wouldn't it make more sense to literally like, hey, why don't you wait till it comes out on Blu-ray, like a week before it hits Blu-ray, you put it out on VOD?
Well, why couldn't they just put it out at the same time if you want to make more money and not fucking wait a few weeks later? Like, put it out at the same time.
We got one more from Jeremiah. Another side note, Moana 2 is going to be a composite of episodes from a show tied together into a movie. Screw that the original Moana is funny, visually beautiful, and deserves better. Yeah, Moana does deserve better.
Yeah, because Moana 2 was originally going to be a Disney Plus series, and Bob Iger was like, oh, I'm shutting that shit down. We're turning this into a theatrical movie, which smart decision. Like, why would you want to turn a very successful animated film that was so good and well beloved and downgrade it into a Disney Plus show?
I mean,
Bob J-Beck, go fuck yourself. Like, don't fucking do that shit.
They did that same shit with Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
How does that work?
And they were gonna make a fucking another sequel for Disney Plus show, Zootopia. The fuck's wrong with you guys? Like, don't if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, that's like taking your tongue and putting it in your asshole and be like, ugh, how does that taste like shit?
Or it's like taking a good cheeseburger and wiping out someone's ass cheek and eating it.
But Jeremiah also says because it's just a show or show being rehashed, it doesn't even have songs by Lin-Manuel Miranda. What is Disney doing nowadays? Honestly, you could do an academic study on the bad decisions that they are making.
I think they need some like psychological testing with Disney.
They're
right now.
remaking Moana. Okay, they're remaking Moana.
A live
I
action.
was old enough to see Moana when like it first came out. I was working at my local theater, and the manager was like, "All right, Moana's coming. Everybody come, like, stay after we close. We're all watching it together." I'm like, "Perfect." I had Cheetos popcorn. It was awesome. But
You sound like you're the boss, man.
yeah, it was. Yeah, I loved working at that.
Most managers would be like, "I don't give a fuck if you watch it or not. You gotta pay for it like everyone else, asshole."
I love that theater. I still
you want
go.
to watch Oppenheimer? You get your ass in Sunday morning. You take off work. You turn back around. Come buy a ticket and sit your ass down. That's if you want to watch Oppenheimer, asshole. And then you clock in after you get done.
You get your ass in there and you watch that fucking movie.
No, but I love that theater. I just saw this movie, Land of Bad, earlier today at my theater with Russell Crowe and Liam Hemsworth. It was surprisingly decent. But
I actually just watched Oppenheimer too last night for the first time.
What? And?
I was just saying, like, I watched it. I mean, I thought it was pretty good.
Well, to just before we close things out, the next superhero anything, like movie-wise, is not until Deadpool and Wolverine, coming out July 26th. We already have a trailer for it, and the trailer looks 1,000 times better than anything Madam Web did, but that was a pretty easy...
Wait, isn't the next project like a DC project?
Oh, no, we're not doing... Oh, yeah, no, they're... For movies, no.
Creature
we're not going to have it. Oh, no, Creature Commandos is an animated series for Max that is the part of the DCU. So they're doing it for a Max series and not
what
a
about
film.
X-Men 97? I mean, X-Men 97, not...
Disney Plus.
Oh, Disney Plus, yeah.
Yeah,
it's a revival show.
I could have swore there was something else that was kind of like What If or something like that was coming.
Oh, they already done season 2. That's already
that
I have not even watched season 2 yet. It's not I'm against it.
I've only watched a few episodes. They're fine. They're not bad.
I watched, so I guess Deadpool's next, okay? And then afterwards, you know what we're getting then? Creature Commandos. Then Joker 2.
Yeah,
or it might be Joker 2, then Creature Commandos.
Oh, yeah.
And then guess what? Superman Legacy.
Next year, yeah, in 2025. We got it. No, for 2025 is going to be a packed year for Marvel and DC.
We got the Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four,
Captain America, Brave New World, Blade. We got the Fantastic
Blade's
Four.
never going to make it to theaters in 2025.
No,
you might as well.
At this point,
it's
no.
2026.
If they start production, let's just wait until they start production.
They're not going to because there's too many projects. That Kevin Feige's smarter than that. He's probably going to push Blade to 2026.
Yeah. Until like Marshall Ali,
I would be shocked
he'll turn like fucking 60 by the time this movie gets made.
Wesley Snipes is back as Blade, everyone.
I've only one.
Oh yeah, we got Daredevil Born Again in 2025.
Yeah. Also, don't we have like another project with like a bunch of big like Secret Wars? Isn't Avengers Kang Dynasty in 2025?
No, that's in like 2026, I think, the Kang Dynasty. Well, they're still not sure if they're going to call it Kang Dynasty. If they're trying to decide whether they should write fucking Kang out of the fucking storyline. It kind of feels like they're going to lean towards more of Dr. Doom as the big baddie and not Kang.
You know what they should do? Recast the role and make it.
I wish they recast
Ryan
the role.
I'm just a Kang.
I'm just Kang.
A cocker.
That would be priceless.
on that note, let's bring things to a close. What did you all think of Madam Web? Let us know in the comments. Love to read what you have to say. Thank you guys for the chat and for suffering through this movie.
I had a great time. I actually liked the movie.
This is fun. This is actually better than doing it by ourselves.
I'm ordering the 4K off Amazon right now. See, watch.
Like if we just review like a big anticipated movies and we have a fucking spoiler discussion as like a support group from best to worst.
Yeah, but Jacob, Matt, thank you both so much. Jacob, your channel's linked in the description. Do you got any videos coming up?
Yeah, I got a review for Skull and Bones, a game I paid $100 for that I
Damn,
cannot
that much
wait.
money?
100, what for?
Yeah,
Of
I
course
got the
you would do
deluxe.
it.
I got the fucking deluxe edition for
You
that
bought
game.
the fucking you bought it like $100 on fucking Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
That one
How much did you
I actually enjoyed that one. That one I thought was worth my money.
really?
The
Because
other
I
Skull
seem
and
to
Bones,
remember when
I
you
feel
were
like I got fucked in the
I
ass
seem
on
to
that one.
remember while you were playing it, you told me to save money and wait on for the
I
price to
will
drop.
say I would not pay
Jake-
100 for it, but I will say
Jacob,
I do think I finally, after playing the whole game, I feel like I got my money's earned.
Jacob, I
I
love
will-
you. You are my friend, but I'm going to be sending you a YouTube video on how to spend your money.
I got fucked in the ass on the Skull and Bones though, because literally I'm basically playing World of Tanks but with pirate ships.
But also, if you want to get a great co-op game that came out recently, get Helldivers 2. That's $40. Very light microtransaction, fun as fuck. It's really fucking good.
Taking a
Helldivers
break
2
on
is the shit.
microtransactions because I've been fucked
There's
too
not
many
much. No,
times.
the microtransaction is very light. Like there's not much that you need to spend on certain things. It's most of the weapons that they have are very sick that you can earn medals after you win the certain missions, and you have to like work as a team too. It's very challenging, and it's $40, and it's fucking at like 27 gigabyte storage, and the graphics are pretty sick. The gameplay is amazing. It's like you're playing Starship Troopers meets Terminator. I'm not even joking. That's not even exaggeration.
I'm good on brand new games. 'Cause I feel like Skull and Bones kind of took a piece out of my ass.
Like, no, fuck Skull and Balls, get Helldivers 2. That's something that you should have gotten instead.
I mean, I like Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and I heard this was like a spiritual sequel. And so this game, literally, you cannot go off. You can't jump off your ship. You're literally confined to your ship. You are confined to your ship until you go and dock at land.
Well, yeah, that's what it really
That's
is. It's literally
ship.
like you have to stay on your ship. You can't like you can't get off and toss and go to town on these other ships.
It's literally you can't jump off in the water or nothing. And on top of that, they're literally if another player can come by and fuck your ship up, and then you're done, and take all your loot and then leave, and then you're just like and then your ship is just literally a pile of. I'm like, how is that fucking fair? Like it's not even like I'm just saying this is a fucked up game.
That video I'm sending you will be forthcoming, but Jacob's channel is linked in the description. Give him some views because the YouTube money will desperately be needed. I have a feeling.
Just give them over 500. Get them up to 500 subscribers to become partners with YouTube.
Give me some subscribers, please, man. Please, man. Please, man.
Please, man. I need some money, man.
Please give me 500 subscribers, man. I need it because I can't afford to get fucked in the ass anymore for my video game reviews, man. They took a big chunk out of my ass. Those pirates, they really worked me with their longhorns and those skivvy scabbers.
Well, on that pleasant note, Matt, your link tree is in the description along with your channel. You said you have a spoiler-free Madam Web video you are in the process of editing. That'll be on your channel soon.
That'll be Friday's my Madam Web spoiler review.
Anything else you got?
Well, I just uploaded for James Cameron's movie The Abyss. I recently uploaded that. I'm still in the process of editing the video of my trailer thoughts for the Super Bowl movie trailers. So that will be up a little bit soon. I don't know when precisely, but it'll be up soon. Just keep your eye open on it. And I'm active on TikTok and Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. So be sure to follow that shit too.
Yeah, definitely do that. But as far as this channel goes, I don't know if I've gotten any more, but as of this recording, I am at 446 subscribers. So the road to 500 is closer to the end than I initially realized.
We're getting him an escort if he gets to 500. Come on.
Help Jake get up to 500, be partners with YouTube because he needs the fucking money. He's got fucked in the ass by Skull and Bone.
And that's not it at all. I don't have something else. Like
He's desperate for money, bro. Just come on, give him a chance.
I don't like cocaine at all either. I'm not like
he's our neighborhood. He's our neighborhood. He's our neighborhood DSP. But I hope someone got that reference in the chat. But as far as this channel goes, the road to Godzilla X Kong continues this week with a look at Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, and Godzilla vs. Destroya, which I will be joined by Austin Pez Howell from the Movie Hero Network. making his channel debut, so I'm looking forward to having him on. The 1999 project this week will be very busy, just reading off a couple of the ones. 200 Cigarettes, starring the Afflecks and Dave Chappelle. Yes, really. 8
206.
millimeter, 8 millimeter from Joel Schumacher, starring Nicolas Cage.
I heard that's good. I heard that one's good.
And Lansky, which is an HBO miniseries or HBO movie, excuse me, about Meyer Lansky. So I'm looking forward to that. But that will be dropping Friday. But subscribe to these guys. Subscribe to this channel. Leave a like. For Matt, for Jacob, my name is Ryan Cam. We will see you all in the next one. You all have a very good night. Don't watch